Hey everyone, Dockwell here, and welcome to another video. Today's video is going to be about every single offlane hero and the item guide for every single hero. So let's just jump into it quickly. We're going to go through every single one for this patch. I may make future ones like this every single patch. We'll just see. I may just make updates for the ones that have changed, but we're just going to go quickly through every single hero here and just show you what the item guide is generally for this hero. So we're going to start out here at the top with Axe. So here's the guides, and we're going to click on this one for Tortellini. Basically, it's pretty simple with Axe. You want to rush Vanguard. You pretty much get this. You might even get this before boots. You can get boots if you really need it. If you know you're against the hero that really likes to chase you down in lane, or you want to chase them down, you can get boots first. But really, you want to get Vanguard first, because then you become unkillable. And at this point, then you can get your phase boots. You could get travels if you want to, but usually you get phase boots these days. You don't go into travels anymore like the old Axe build with Manta and everything. You pretty much just get phase boots. It helps you with the tankiness, catching up with people, and then you go right into your Blink Dagger. Now, when you get your Vanguard, you pretty much can take towers, all of that kind of stuff. It's really, really good. And then you get your Blink Dagger. Then you run around killing people. Then you can transition to Blade Mail. Blade Mail is really, really good. And then usually BKB or something like that. You can also get Halberd. If you need it, if there's someone that does a lot of right-click damage that you need to stop clicking, Shivas is also very good, upgrading your Blink eventually and stuff like that. You can get a Crimson Guard sometimes. I don't always get it. It's just not a very good item right now. It's not in a great spot, so I don't always upgrade the Vanguard. In fact, sometimes you might even get Abyssal instead by using your upgraded Vanguard to like make an Abyssal instead of a Crimson Guard, just because that extra stun is very, very good. But this is pretty much the simple Axe build. I would almost never go Pipe, never go Force Staff. I don't think it's good for your bracket. I think just getting these items is good. Maybe a heart sometimes, that kind of thing. So that's Axe. Next, we're going to go with BATRIDER. So BATRIDER, pretty simple, pretty straightforward these days. You're going to go Boots of Travel almost every time. Now, as a mid hero, you obviously go Bottle, but as an offlane hero, we can just actually select this one because it's offlane. You can go Tranquil Boots, but I would still go the mid build, even though you're obviously playing offlane. I would go the mid build, just maybe not Bottle. So I would go straight Boots of Travel. Then I would probably go Blink Dagger. Maybe Blink Dagger first if you're having a really rough lane. Then BKB, Ags, Shard, these kinds of things, but the same kind of stuff as usual from the mid build as well. Maybe even Force Staff if you really want it. I would probably not go Meteor Hammer, not go Solar Crest, probably not go Yules, maybe Lotus Orb, eventually Shivas, these kinds of things. That's how I would build that. Next, we're going to go Centaur, Warrunner. So Centaur, same thing as Axe, go straight into the Vanguard, potentially Boots first if you really need them, but probably Vanguard straight away because it just allows you to tank the creep wave way better. It allows you to spam your double edge off cooldown, that kind of stuff. Then from there, you can go Phase Boots. Sometimes you can go Arcane Boots. I don't really love getting Arcane Boots, but if you want to upgrade into a Lotus Orb, get a quick Lotus Orb, you can. From the Vanguard, you can go Hood, but I just love getting Blink. I think Blink next is really, really good. So getting your Vanguard, your Boots, potentially Phase Boots, and then Blink. You pretty much need a Blink on this hero. Then if you really, really need a Pipe, you can get a Pipe, but I don't think you always need it on this hero. I think what you can go afterwards is either like a Halberd, even Heart, Shivas, and then Ags is one of the last things I think you should build, but it is a very good item. It's a really, really good, really great team fight item. I don't necessarily know that you should go second or third item Ags, but you definitely should get an Ags as one of your later items because it just helps team fight so much. So it's very necessary on Centaur. It's very, very good. But definitely Vanguard into Blink, these kinds of things. I don't love Pipe every time on this hero. I think if you go Vanguard and Pipe, it just sometimes feels really bad. But it is a hero that can buy it, so or at least Hood, not maybe the full Pipe, but it is something you can do. But I would love to get that Blink timing early. I'd really like tanking up with Heart and overwhelming Blink and that kind of stuff. Next, we'll go Clockwork. Clockwork's not the best offlaner anymore. He doesn't really play offlane a ton. He's more of like a 4-position support, but we'll just include him here anyway. We'll click on this one as the offlane. Basically, you're going to be getting Power Treads. Maybe this is the starting item build. I'm not really sure. I'm not a huge offlane clock player. And then it looks like they want you to go Spirit Vessel. I'd say this is probably right. I'd probably get your Force Staff eventually. Maybe Force Staff before Spirit Vessel if it's not a good Spirit Vessel game. But basically, Power Treads, Force Staff. I would try to tank up too. I wouldn't necessarily go Blade Mail. I'd probably try to get more of like tanky items like Shivas, like Ags, different things like that. I tried to get more tanky items. Blade Mails is still good. It's something you still can definitely get, but you definitely want to look to get involved as much as possible. Probably still get that Force Staff as well. Next, we're going to go EARTHSHAKER. So EARTHSHAKER off lane, you're probably going to want to go Soul Ring. Just because you need that mana, you have mana problems, and as core Shaker, you're not going to get mana boots every time. I mean, you can get mana boots if you think you really need it and you don't want to go that Soul Ring, you think you're going to get harassed a bunch, and you can go phase instead if you need the armor, but, or you can go Arcane Boots, and then you can go Phase instead. But yeah, I think Phase is probably better. It's just better overall. You just catch up to people and things like that with Core Shaker. And then from there, you have an option. You can go Blink. I think Blink is good. It's obviously cheaper than Ags, but Ags is very, very good. Obviously, it doesn't get canceled like Blink. It has, you know, extra stats along with it, but the timing isn't as great. Obviously, it costs like twice as much. Not quite twice as much, but close. So it's just one of those things. If you're crushing the game, you think you can get a really early Ags, go for it. But otherwise, you really need Blink. I think you should eventually get both items anyway. But yeah, I think that's what you should do. I would go BKB. I would go some things like this. Potentially, you can go Daedalus and more like core items or like Silver Edge. You can definitely do that. But offlaners, I mean, I would probably only get, you know, more of like defensive item, Lotus Orb, tanky items, things like this, not necessarily go for damage because it's not really something you need. I mean, maybe if you were playing mid Earthshaker, go for damage, but not from the offlane role. Next, we'll go Faceless Void. So Faceless Void, this is the carry build. They don't really have an offlane build, although I've seen people build them offlane. I think if you're going to go offlane, you should probably go, like, maybe you still go Maelstrom, or maybe you still go Mask of Madness, maybe one farming item just to, like, get some farm, just something, so you can get that. But then from there, I think you pretty much want to go like BKB, Agnum Scepter, possibly Refresher, like tank up and just play around your Chrono, play around this Time Walk Bash, that kind of thing. But don't focus too much on these farming damage items because that's not really your role. You want to maybe have Refresher, Ags, tanky items, stuff that you can like kill people with in Chrono. You also only want to pick offlane Void when you have a team that can like kill people in Chrono, like Skywrath and stuff like that. So next we're going to do Legion Commander. Legion Commander, they say here do Armlet. You can do this if you want. I just don't think it's as good as maybe some people believe it to be, but I would say that definitely you want to get Blink as quickly as possible. And this is why I don't love Armlet, although if you are comfortable with it, if you can get the Iron Will, the Helm of Iron Will, you can get your boots, you can get your phase and Armlet really at a good timing, you can absolutely dominate the lane, just crush the lane. I think sometimes you can crush the lane though without even getting Armlet, and you can rush straight into that Blink. The problem I see is some people go Armlet and then they just don't really have much impact on the game, then their Blink is super, super late. I'd almost rather if you wanted to go Blade Mail first a little bit, you know, it's a little bit better, maybe do that, but I even wouldn't do that. I would always almost go Blink Dagger as quickly as possible, just because it allows you to get that dual damage and snowball much easier. And then from there, obviously, you can get some damage items, you can get BKB, you always get the Shard all the time. 20 minutes, get the Shard. I don't really care what you're doing. Maybe if you're close to finishing another item, maybe, but even then, this is just one of the best Shards in the game. So you should get the Shard every time, as soon as it hits 20 minutes. In fact, you should probably save up to make sure that once it hits exactly 20 minutes, you get it, because it's just so good. So next we have Night Stalker. Night Stalker, I'm probably finishing a Bracer, actually. Then I'm going straight Phase Boots. Then I'm usually going Echo Saber. I still think it's pretty good on this hero. It just offers this hero a lot of what you need. Allows you to stay on top of people and stuff. It just gives you that slow. There's not really anything else that allows you to stick on top of people as much. Then I'm either going Blink or BKB, depending on which one I need. But usually Blink. I almost always want to get a Blink Dagger on this hero. It's very, very good. And then from there, once you get this core item build, you can kind of decide what you want. Do you want to bash people? Do you want Invis? Do you need a Halberd? Do you want a Lotus Orb for something? Can you go AC? Are you just crushing the game? You can really afford an AC. Are people running away from you because Nullifier and you don't die, but you know people are just using Ghost Scepters? Get a Nullifier, these kinds of things. But it's very up to the game situational awareness. But this is definitely core. I think you go this every single time. Next, we're going to do Pudge. So Pudge offlane, not a huge thing right now, but it still could be potentially possible. I think you go, I'm not sure you go Soul Ring, maybe possibly go Soul Ring. I definitely think you eventually want to get either a Pipe or, what's the other item? I always forget what the Eternal Shroud. You definitely want to get that eventually. You also want to get Phase Boots, but Blink is definitely a thing you want to do on this hero. Blink is very good. It just puts you in a great position to get hooks and all that kind of stuff. Blink on top of people to get your ult, all that kind of stuff. So I think this is a good build. Then into Blink, then potentially Pipe or Eternal Shroud. And then you can get BKB. I definitely think Ags is very, very good on the hero. So that's just something you eventually want to do. But these two items for armor, Lotus Orb and Shiva is also really great. A Heart is really great, all that kind of stuff. But you want to fight off cooldown, and Blink really helps you do that. Next we'll go with Sand King. Sand King, I think, is a pretty good hero all around. And I think the build is kind of a little bit different just depending on what you want to do. You can go Tranquil Boots on this hero, but I don't love Tranquil Boots on this hero. I don't love Tranquil Boots on any core hero, really. So if you want to, you can get... you could get Guardian Greaves. It's not really a huge thing on this hero, I don't believe. But I would honestly get Boots of Travel. So I like this build a little bit better. Boots of Travel on this hero, just so good. It gives you that extra move speed. It allows you to be all around the map, defend towers. I think it's just a really good item on this hero because I think Boots of Travel is just good overall. Then you eventually want to get Blink Dagger. You obviously want to get Blink Dagger probably first, maybe even before Boots of Travel. But these two, I think you would go... You know, if you really want to, then you can choose, do you want to get this Yules because you feel like you're going to get, you know, dusted up in your Sandstorm, you feel like it really helps your survivability, maybe you'll go Lotus, maybe you'll go Shivas, BKB, all this kind of stuff. I think Ags is also really good on this hero. I would probably not buy Pipe very much, any kind of defensive items like that. I would more buy like Yules, Shivas, BKB, Scythe, Ags, stuff like this. I would not go Radiance. I would probably, occasionally I would go for a Vanguard, but I would not go Crimson. It's just one of those things. I would probably rather go more of a tanky strength build than an arcane blink build, that kind of stuff. And so that's how I would build this hero. Do you need the survivability? Do you want to go Yules or do you just want to go straight BKB? It just depends on the game. Next, we'll have SLARDAR. So SLARDAR, I think, is one of these heroes that you go Tread Zone instead of going Phase because you just want that extra attack speed to get all those hits in. You probably want to go Bracer, maybe even 2 Bracers because this hero just dominates lanes really early on, so that's really good. Just your basic items here. Then you're going to go Blink, BKB, Ags. I think this is pretty much standard. I think this is a great build right here on how to play this hero. You could potentially go some defensive item like Lotus Orb. You could potentially go something like this, but I really just think this is core on this hero. Blink is so good. BKB, obviously really good, and Ags is so good. And then you can just go into luxury items, and one of the luxury items, obviously AC, even Moonchar, just so good on this hero. This hero relies on all of these things. Maybe if you want to tank up, you can build a little bit more of an HP item or something like that, but that's how I would play SLARDAR. Next, Spirit Breaker, very popular recently. I think Spirit Breaker... You want to get your phase boots, maybe a bracer, potentially Echo Saber, but I don't think Echo Saber is the best. It's just something that people have been buying. I think you probably do want to build Shadow Blade, though, eventually. You probably want to get Shadow Blade because you do want to get Silver Edge, I think. There's a lot of games that there are people, you know, heroes, especially with PA being popular, just a lot of different heroes that you can apply that break to and just absolutely demolish when you do so. So I think that Shadow Blade's very, very good. It also allows you to initiate without being seen. There's just so many good things about it. Ags also, I think, is a very, very good item on this hero. BKB also very, very good. I just don't know that I would go the Echo Saber first, but it's still pretty good. Also, Heaven's Halberd is definitely something you consider as well. And then there are other items that you can get. Like AC, you can either get a heart, you can get Blade Mail, all this crazy stuff, but I definitely think Ags is really good, BKB is good, and I think Silver Edge is something you definitely want to get. And this hero can absolutely demolish people with that item build. Tide, I think Tide's pretty straightforward, pretty simple. You go your boots, you eventually get phase, you probably want to go get Soul Ring. You're almost every single game you're going to get pipe, just because, I mean, unless there's absolutely no magic damage on the enemy team, there's always usually some magic damage. There's almost always something that is dealing magic damage. And so pipe, or I mean hood at least, sorry, not pipe. Hood is at least good to just give you that survivability because you're already good with your Kraken Shell against stuns. You have that passive damage block, so it's always really good. And then you get that extra bit of magic resistance, and you can just frontline tank and stuff like that. And then you always get blink. Now, once you have your hood, blink, you can decide to finish pipe. You can decide to get maybe Guardian Greaves. You can get Ags if you really think it's a good Ags game. But I would honestly maybe consider skipping Ags. I might go Shiva's Refresher right after your blink, things like that. I would probably not go more. I wouldn't go this like weird meme like right click build. I wouldn't do anything like that. I'd go like Shiva's Refresher right after that, and potentially Ags if you really think it's a good Ags game. Next, we'll go Tiny. So Tiny's weird because Tiny is more of like a support or a carry recently, not as much an off lane or like a mid, honestly. So he's not really off lane, but you can still basically build him with the blink. I pretty much want to go blink rush. Then you can get Echo Saber and Silver Edge, this kind of stuff. You almost play him like a carry with his Ags shard and things like that from the off lane. You just want to initiate. You want to get blink really early as first item. Next, we're going to do Vengeful Spirit. So Venge is not really the most popular offlaner right now, but I think you basically play for the Ags. It's just the Ags. That's what makes this hero strong as a core. So you want to get your Ags, probably treads into Ags. I wouldn't really go SNY on this hero. I'd probably go like Ags, and then I go BKB, potentially like Silver Edge, something like that. Maybe get a little bit more damage, things like that. But maybe even more defensive items if you want to. But definitely Ags Rush is the way to go for that hero. Next, we'll go to Beastmaster. Beastmaster, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Not as popular as it was before the nerfs to Helm of the Overlord, but basically you just rush Helm of the Dominator, then potentially get boots, then finish your Helm of the Overlord pretty much right away, and then from there, then you can kind of build BKB or Blink if you want to pick people off. You can buy AC if you just want to like destroy buildings really quickly, that kind of stuff. Potentially Lotus Orb or Boots of Travel if you need to be around the map. But really, it's just Helm of the Dominator rush or Helm of the Overlord rush is really the thing on this hero. You get that timing and you potentially push with your team. Now, Bristleback. Bristleback used to be way better. Or not way better, but significantly better than got nerfed a few times. But still, I think the general build is very similar to how it was before. I think you want to probably get Soul Ring, but really you want to rush Vanguard, just like Axe. You want to rush this Vanguard, then potentially get your boots, whether it's Power Treads or Phase Boots, just depending on the game. But definitely Vanguard, potentially Pipe, into, or potentially Hood, I keep saying Pipe, Hood into Eternal Shroud, very, very good. Then definitely Ags. Ags is what makes this hero strong, very good Ags hero. And then you kind of want to do like a little bit of a hybrid thing where you do some right-click damage, but you could also get Lotus Orb, Heart, these things like that. So you want to tank up, you want to get some spell lifesteal, but you also want to, obviously Ags is a must on this hero, I think, but you also want to tank up and do these things with some of this more armor items and heart and things like that. But some spell lifesteal and some Octarine potentially could be a thing as well if you want to use that. Broodmother, more of a mid hero in some ways, maybe an offlane hero in some ways. Just hard to tell what the new Broodmother is going to be. I think you pretty much just play Broodmother for yourself this patch, or just most times, especially low MMRs. Maybe at high MMRs, like team games, you want to build like Pipe and Greaves and blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. But I would just go Treads and Orchid and just pick people off and go BKB and just play for myself, play for my spiders. That's what I would do. Next, we go with DK. DK, I would get Soul Ring every single game. Then I would go straight Blink, BKB, Ags. I'm just going to do this every single game pretty much because this is just what makes the hero strong. I don't think there's any other thing that you can do that really is viable. Potentially, you could go Silver Edge if you really need it. But I think you're going to go Blink either way. And then you just kind of can go to these luxury items like Satanic, AC, that kind of stuff. Next, we'll go Lone Druid. Obviously, still not a super big popular offlaner, but can sort of play it. I think just playing this from the offlane, you're going to play it like a mid or a core or like a carry. Just, honestly, just get the Phase Boots, get the Mask of Madness, just get the stuff for your bear to just destroy items, destroy towers. Like, just get Mask of Madness, just get Deso, get AC, get MKB, potentially BKB, stuff like that. Maybe if you want to build one of these items for yourself and then eventually later an Agnum Scepter, you can definitely do that. But I would say just play almost like a carry. Same thing with Nature's Prophet from the offlane. I think you're going to go Orchid, BKB, and then you're playing like a carry. I would skip Witchblade. I would maybe not go Solar Crest. I probably wouldn't go Maelstrom. You could potentially go Deso, but I still wouldn't go that. Maybe if you want to do a push strat, you can go Agnum Scepter and Ag Shard. I would get Ag Shard either way, but Scepter and Shard you can combine. But I would just go kind of this carry build, honestly, from the offlane with the Orchid, the BKB, and the AC, and then eventually some pushing with Ag Shard as well. Next, we'll do Sand King. Oh, I already did that on this last time. Tide already did that as well. Timbersaw. So Timbersaw will definitely get mana items, so we definitely want Arcane Boots, we want Soul Ring. Depending what you're up against, do you need Hood? Do you need Yules to, purge stuff off? Is that what you need? Otherwise, I think you can go Kaya Sange, and you can go Lotus Orb. It's really good to get these damage, like offensive items. I think these items are obviously the ones that you want, but if you have to go Hood into Pipe, if you have to go Yules, it's certainly okay to do that. It's not a bad idea. BKB, definitely possible. Bloodstone, possible. I'm not a huge fan. More of these luxury items. I like these extension luxury items, but not these. Obviously, this says situational for a reason. I think these items are a lot better, and obviously, if you don't have to get Hood and you don't have to get Yules, it's, you can skip it. It's okay. Maybe Hood is more standard. It's probably something that you really should get. But Yules is like hit or miss. That's Timber. Underlord, we're just going to go for the Arcane Boots, I think, every time. This hero just loves to have Arcane Boots. It's just really good on the hero. I would say you can decide whether you think Greaves is good that game or Pipe is good that game. If there's not enough magic damage to warrant a Pipe, then you don't have to get it. You can just get Greaves instead. And then from there, I would really like to get Lotus Orb, Shiva's Guard, potentially Rod of Atos if you really think it's good. If this is a very good Atos game, I would also get that too. I might even get like Arcane Boots, maybe even Mech, and then like Rod or something like that, or maybe even that before Mech. But I probably want to finish Guardian Greaves on this hero most times. Just sometimes it doesn't feel that great. I think because Greaves isn't that good and this hero doesn't love building phase boots, that's why one of the reasons why this hero is not the best right now, because the build is a little bit weird. But these are all the items that you can standard get, and I think definitely getting a Rod will help in a lot of different situations, and even potentially a Soul Ring on this hero. Next, we're going to do Veno. So Veno is an offlaner. I don't know. Veno's kind of a weird offlaner right now. I don't love the hero as an offlaner. I think, you know, this is more right here is what they're suggesting is more of like a support build. This is why I don't love it as an offlaner. But I think if you're going to play as offlaner, you still should probably buy Spirit Vessel. I think you want to buy Boots of Travel in the hero so you can play all around the map. And then you can probably go Pipe if you want. You can go Ags, all these different kind of things. You want to tank up, maybe Heaven's Halberd, this kind of stuff, and just cause a lot of chaos in fights. I think that's really what you want to do. And then Spirit Vessel, obviously, if you really need to, if you really think it's good, that's something you definitely can do. It does obviously synergize with this kit very well. Next is Viper. I think Viper, you can kind of just play this hero as a core, as a normal core from the offlane. I think you can go Boots of Travel first if you want, but that's more of a mid thing. I would say just hold off on that. Don't like force that every time. I would probably say tank up a little bit more. Maybe get a Dragonlance. Potentially get a Rod of Atos. I just think Rod is really, really good if you're playing this from the offlane. And then potentially you could even get Maelstrom and combine them later on. You can get BKB. I would just say tank up. Try to be a tanky beast, and don't just get like squishy items. Don't just go Boots of Travel and Maelstrom and, you know, Orchid, or just don't go squishy stuff. Go tanky stuff. Be like a very tanky, annoying thing in fights. So I do like this build generally, and potentially Rod of Atos if you need lockdown from the offlane position. Next, we'll go to Abaddon. So Abaddon or Abaddon, I always forget how to say that, but I think it's Abaddon. I would say this hero's not in the best place as an offlaner, but if you're going to play offlane, I would say goes Phase Boots. I would probably not rush Helm of the Overlord. I would go more of like a right-click kind of build on this hero, like a save right-click build, and eventually go Ags. I wouldn't go the Helm of the Overlord. I'd go like more straight up into Ags possibly, Lotus Orb, these kinds of things, just tanky stuff. And if you're going to be an offlane hero with this, or an offlane player with this hero, I just think like the Ags is so good, saving people, this kind of thing. I think that's really what makes the hero strong. I would not probably go Helm of the Overlord on it. Bloodseeker, I think Bloodseeker you kind of can play like a core, like a normal carry, but the difference is, I think if we go here, yeah, I would say that this is what I was going to say too. Rod of Atos probably on this hero, probably Ags, BKB. You could potentially get a Maelstrom first before Rod, just to speed up your farm so you can actually be a relevant core, and then you can even go Basher and things like that, some normal items, but I think this is a very general thing. I would not go Urn of Shadows, maybe potentially if you really need a Spirit Vessel and no one else is buying it, but other than that, that's how I would play. Bounty Hunter, as an offlane hero for Bounty Hunter, I'm rushing straight up Ags. I know they want these items and stuff. I don't love it. I don't love being squishy and buying Deso. I think it can be good. Potentially Mage Slayer is good. Yeah, I think maybe buying an Orb of Corrosion is good. Definitely Phase Boots, but I would probably straight up rush Ags, honestly. This is what makes this hero really good. Ags, BKB, you're running around, you're tanky, you do so much damage, it's actually insane. You can get a very good timing with Ag Scepter if you just rush it straight up. Potentially Mage Slayer, these items potentially, but I just don't love them. And then you can maybe go AC, you can maybe go Basher, you can maybe go some of these other more team fight items as well. Brewmaster, I'm pretty sure Brewmaster, again, I hate Tranquil Boots on heroes like this. I know it's like, I just hate Tranquil Boots on cores, especially at lower MMRs. Spirit Vessel, potentially. I would probably go something like Blink and go something like Ags, Refresher, Heaven's Halberd, BKB. Like, I would go these situation ones more than these. I don't really love the build here that he's saying. I would say, I mean, this maybe is how people are playing it, but I would rather go a little bit more offensive. I would even go like AC. I would just want to get up in people's faces, be a little more tanky, do a little bit more damage. Obviously, play for your ults. Definitely get Ags. Definitely do that. But don't go too passive. Don't go too, like, I think this hero actually potentially does a lot of damage in fights, even with his normal form. So go that, I would say. Next, I would say CK offlane. I think it's not really super viable. I think if you're going to play offlane, you should probably use the Ag Scepter as like the thing that you're playing for. I think you can still definitely go Armlet, but it's like the Ags, BKB, and stuff like that is what you want to be playing for. Maybe like Ags, BKB, Assault, Curious Heart, and stuff like that. I don't love going the straight up carry build as an offlaner. It just feels griefy to me, but you can do that if you want. I mean, it's fine. Next, we'll do Darkseer. Darkseer, I think this is the standard build here. With Ags, Blink, I think maybe Blink before Ags. Ags is obviously really good. You could potentially even do Guardian Greaves if you want. But I think Blink is just obviously super good on this hero. Eventually Shivas, things like that. If you need a BKB, go a BKB, potentially Refresher, that kind of thing. Next we go Dawnbreaker offlane. So Dawnbreaker, Phase Boots, potentially Echo Saber. I think Echo Saber is almost a must on this hero still. Even though Echo Saber's been nerfed so much, I still think it's probably pretty good on this hero. I would skip Solar Crest. I would not go Solar Crest. I just don't think it's really a great item right now, especially on a core hero. So I would go Echo Saber, BKB, AC, these kinds of things. I would probably get a Halberd a lot of times on this hero, that kind of stuff. So that is something that I would consider. But this is pretty much the build, I would say, just not the Solar Crest. Doom, I would say for Doom, basically you want to rush Midas. I think you just get Midas on this hero. The whole point is to get as much farm as possible. Use your ability, use your Midas, get as much farm, get a Blink, get a BKB, get Sheaves, get Refresher, get Ags, get all that stuff. I think this is the perfect build for him. I just would put Ags and Refresher up in there a little bit higher. And then potentially Heaven's Halberd if you need it, and things like that. I would probably not go Aeon Disc that much or Crimson Guard that much. Earthshaker ready. Earthshaker. Earth Spirit. Not really the biggest core hero, so I don't really know that I would play this offlane ever. It might not even, maybe shouldn't even be on the list, to be honest. But if you're going to play this core, I maybe just would follow this build. I don't really know. So that's this one. I'm just going to say, I have no idea. I literally have no idea. Maybe you're just buying Spirit Vessel. I literally don't play this hero. I have no idea. Maybe just go these items because this guy said so. I don't know. Elder Titan. So Elder Titan offlane, you're going to want to rush Ags. You're probably still going to get Echo Saber on this hero because it really helps you beat people down. And then once you get Ags, you're an absolute monster. And then from there, I think you just go, like, honestly, carry items. You just absolutely straight up carry the game. Just forget all this nonsense. Just carry the game. Just punch people in the face and do insane billions of damage. Next, Enigma. Enigma, I think you're just going to get your mana boots. You're going to get your Blink Dagger. You're going to get your BKB, your Lincolns, and you're just going to play for this timing with you have BKB, then play for your Lincoln's timing, then play for your Refresher Orb timing. And this is pretty much how you play this hero. Just play to absolutely own people with your ultimate. Go Blink, go BKB, go Lincoln's, go Refresher. Just do it. Then you can mix in, you know, these luxury items if you need to. I did Faceless Void. KUNKKA, I think KUNKKA, you're kind of playing him very similar in the offlane as to the mid lane. I think the difference is in offlane, you can still go Armlet, I think, and still go BKB. I just would skip Silver Edge potentially, and I would go more into like Agnum Scepter just for the control and stuff like that. Potentially Halberd, just a little bit more defensive. And then you can even go, you know, you can go AC if you want that kind of stuff. But yeah, I would go a little bit more defensive, like he says right here, which is good. Maybe Shiva's, Ags, all that kind of stuff. Potentially Blink if you need it. Magnus offlane, I'm going Blink. Probably not going Shadowblade, but potentially. I would go Ag Shard still, even though they nerfed it. Go Refresher, go Shivas. Go just more this defensive, play around your ult, play around your Skewer, play around your Horn Toss. Mars, I'm kind of torn between Mars. I would say definitely go Blink. I think you should go as like a lower MMR player if you're not like the highest MMR. Definitely go this more offensive build with BKB and then like go like Blink Deso or like Deso Blink and then get BKB and AC and just absolutely blow people up with your physical damage. I think it's really, really good. And then you can potentially mix in other stuff. I would probably not go Yules. I just don't think it's great. Or defensive items like Pipe, Hood, those kinds of things. I wouldn't go that. I would go more offensive. Next, we have Necro. Necro, as offlaner, I'm building totally defensive items. I'm probably going Greaves. I'm probably going Pipe, going Lotus, going Shivas, going all these things that make me tankier, help my team, all that stuff. Potentially Rod, but maybe not. I don't even love Ags on this hero either. But I think this is the perfect build, actually, for Necrophos, so I'm not going to say too much more about that. Pango, I think from Pango's perspective, I would still skip Diffusal, but I would go all these. I would definitely go Maelstrom to farm, potentially Blink, definitely Ags every game, potentially Gleipnir, but maybe not. It just depends. But definitely all this. Eventually Basher, I would definitely say Basher. Potentially Diffusal, but I think that's more of like a core mid thing. But just definitely these things. I would skip the aura items. I don't love the aura items. Next, we're going to go with Razor. So Razor core right now, I think you pretty much just buy like one farming item, maybe one of these, BKB, and then you just straight up go like refresh, like BKB Refresher, or like BKB Scotty Refresher, or something like that. It's actually insane how much damage that hero can do, and then maybe Ags later just to tank up and just have like 2 ults and 2 links and all that. Sand King we already did, Tide we already did, Underlord we did, Veno we did, Viper we did. So we did all of them. So that's every item build for every hero that plays offlane. I think OD I missed. I think I said that in the previous video when I did the offlane guide. There are some other heroes maybe I should have included, or maybe that I'm thinking about including. Marcy I haven't included in any list yet. I just don't know that everyone knows what, you know, position that hero is going to play. So I could have put Marcy in here, but I just didn't. So sorry if I missed your hero. If it's not in here, just let me know in the comments if you think I missed a hero other than like OD or Marcy that should be in here. But those are all the item builds for patch point patch 7.30E. I'll probably do updates in the future whenever the item builds change. So as always, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all those kinds of things. All the links are in the description for my Discord. Request replay reviews there or in the comments. Go to my Patreon for coaching or to support me. And my Twitch channel is where I do all my replay reviews. So as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.